Have you ever wondered about the stories of Krishna? Not just the myths, but the real, profound tales that have shaped millions of lives for millennia. We often hear about his playful antics as a child, or his divine role in the Mahabharata. But what if we could peel back the layers and connect with the essence of these stories on a deeper, more personal level? Today, we're embarking on a journey to explore the true stories of Krishna. Tales that are not just historical or mythological accounts, but living narratives filled with wisdom that's incredibly relevant to our lives right now. Let's start from the very beginning. A story of hope, born in the darkest of times. Krishna's birth itself is a powerful testament to the idea that light always triumphs over darkness. His parents, Devaki and Vasudeva, were imprisoned by the tyrannical king Kamsa, Devaki's own brother. A prophecy had foretold that Devaki's eighth child would be Kamsa's undoing. Terrified, Kamsa systematically eliminated her first 7 children. Imagine the despair, the fear, the hopelessness of that situation. But then, on a dark and stormy night, the 8th child, Krishna, was born. Miraculously, the prison guards fell asleep, the chains broke, and the doors swung open. Vasudeva knew he had to act. He placed the divine baby in a basket and set out to cross the raging Yamuna River. The waters parted, and a great serpent, Shashanaka, rose to shield the infant from the torrential rain. Vasudeva safely reached the village of Gokul and exchanged his son with the newborn daughter of Yashoda and Nanda. This story is more than just a miraculous event. It's a metaphor for our own lives. The prison represents our limitations, our fears, and the circumstances that hold us back. Kamsa is the embodiment of the negative forces, both external and internal, that seek to extinguish our potential. But Krishna's birth signifies that even in our darkest moments, a divine spark, a source of hope and strength, is born within us. It teaches us that with faith and courage, like Vasudeva crossing the stormy river, we can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles to protect what is precious. It's a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn is inevitable. Now let's move from his birth to his childhood in the beautiful pastoral land of Vrindavan. This is where we see the playful, charming, and deeply loving side of Krishna. One of the most famous stories is of him stealing butter. Krishna, known as Makhan Chor, or the butter thief, would gather his friends and devise clever plans to get to the pots of freshly churned butter that the gopis, the cow-herding women, would hang high up to keep it safe. On the surface, it's a charming tale of a mischievous child. But the true story here is much deeper. The gopis represent the devoted souls, and the butter, churned with great effort and care, symbolizes the purest form of love and devotion in their hearts. Krishna doesn't steal the butter out of greed. He steals it because he craves that pure, unadulterated love. He is drawn to it. The gopis would sometimes pretend to be angry, but secretly they were delighted. They would tie him up, but he would always manage to free himself. This story beautifully illustrates the nature of divine love. It's not a transaction. It's a playful, intimate, and loving exchange. It shows that the divine doesn't want our formal rituals as much as it desires the pure love from our hearts, the butter of our devotion. It's a call to offer our love freely and joyfully, without expectation. And just like Krishna freed himself from the ropes, it shows that divine love can't be bound or controlled by our rules or ego. It is a force of pure freedom and joy. Another powerful story from his youth is the lifting of Govardhan Hill. The villagers of Vrindavan traditionally made an elaborate offering to Lord Indra, the king of the heavens and the god of rain, to ensure a good monsoon. Krishna, still a young boy, questioned this. He argued that it was Govardhan Hill that provided fodder for their cattle and the forests that gave them resources. He suggested they should worship the hill and their own community, their own karma, their own righteous actions. The villagers, convinced by his simple yet profound logic, worshipped Govardhan Hill instead. This enraged Indra. Feeling his authority challenged, he unleashed a furious storm, a deluge of rain that threatened to wash away the entire village. The people were terrified and ran to Krishna for help. And what did Krishna do? In an incredible display of divine power, the young boy effortlessly lifted the entire Govardhan Hill on the little finger of his left hand. For 7 days and 7 nights, he held it up like a giant umbrella, protecting every single resident of Vrindavan, people and animals alike, from the storm. Finally, Indra, his pride humbled, realized his mistake and stopped the rain. This story is a monumental lesson. Indra represents the ego, the pride, and our attachment to external validation and outdated traditions. Krishna teaches us to look within, to value our own work, our community, and the nature that directly sustains us. Lifting the hill symbolizes that our inner strength, our connection to a higher consciousness, is our ultimate refuge. It's our true shelter against the storms of life, the crises, the anxieties, the challenges thrown at us by our own ego or by external forces. When we are grounded in our own truth and act with righteous intention, we have the power to withstand any storm. As Krishna grew, his journey led him to the epic stage of the Mahabharata, where he played the role of a guide, a diplomat, and a divine strategist. But his most profound role was that of a charioteer and a spiritual teacher to the great warrior Arjuna. This brings us to the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most revered spiritual texts in the world. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, faced with the prospect of fighting his own cousins, his teachers, and his elders, Arjuna was overwhelmed with grief and doubt. He dropped his bow, his body trembling, and refused to fight. He was in a state of complete emotional and moral collapse. This is a moment we can all relate to, when we face a dilemma so profound that it paralyzes us. It is at this critical juncture that Krishna delivers the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't just give orders. He becomes Arjuna's counselor, his therapist, his guide. He explains the nature of the soul, the concept of dharma or duty, and the path of selfless action, or karma yoga. He tells Arjuna that the soul is eternal and cannot be killed. He urges him to perform his duty as a warrior without being attached to the results, the fruits of his actions. Whether victory or defeat, joy or sorrow, he should remain balanced. This isn't just a story about a war. It's the story of the internal battle we all fight every day. The battlefield of Kurukshetra is our own mind, filled with conflicting thoughts, desires, and fears. Arjuna is our own confused self, and Krishna is the voice of our higher consciousness, our inner wisdom that guides us. The core message of the Gita, to act righteously without attachment to the outcome, is perhaps the most practical spiritual advice ever given. In our careers, our relationships, our personal goals, we often get so caught up in the results that we lose our peace of mind. Krishna's teaching empowers us to focus on giving our best in the present moment, to do the right thing, and to let go of the anxiety about what will happen next. It's a path to freedom from the roller coaster of success and failure. Finally, let's touch upon the story of Krishna and Sudama. Sudama was a poor Brahmin and a childhood friend of Krishna. Urged by his wife, who was struggling to feed their children, Sudama decided to visit Krishna, who was now the king of Dwarka. He was hesitant and ashamed of his poverty. All he had to offer his friend, the king, was a small, tattered pouch of puffed rice. When Sudama arrived at the magnificent palace, he was awestruck, but Krishna, upon seeing his old friend, rushed out to embrace him. He washed Sudama's feet with his own hands, treating him with the utmost love and respect, ignoring his ragged clothes and humble demeanor. When Krishna saw the small pouch of puffed rice, his eyes filled with tears of love. He ate a handful with immense joy, declaring it the most delicious offering he had ever received. Sudama was so overwhelmed by Krishna's love and humility that he forgot to ask for the financial help he came for. He left the palace with nothing but a heart full of love. But when he returned home, he found his humble hut transformed into a golden palace, and his family adorned with riches. This beautiful story teaches us about true friendship and the nature of selfless giving. Krishna didn't wait for Sudama to ask. He understood his friend's need. It shows that the divine values the intention and love behind an offering, not its material worth. That small pouch of puffed rice offered with pure love was more valuable to Krishna than all the riches in the world. It is a powerful reminder to approach our relationships and our spirituality with a pure and open heart, and to trust that when we give selflessly, our needs will be taken care of in ways we can't even imagine. From the darkness of the prison to the pastoral fields of Vrindavan, from the battlefield of Kurukshetra to the royal court of Dwarka, the stories of Krishna are not just ancient tales. They are a roadmap for living a meaningful, joyful, and courageous life. They teach us about hope, love, duty, inner strength, and selfless action. They show us that the divine is not a distant, judgmental figure, but a playful friend, a loving guide, and a constant companion available to us at every moment. The true stories of Krishna are, in fact, the story of our own potential, waiting to be awakened. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If these stories resonated with you, let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and why. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into timeless wisdom. Until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.